Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. Today we're going to review Chanel's Eau De Cologne. Now, it is technically a re-review because I have reviewed the Eau De Cologne many years ago. Dare I say 9 years ago on my main channel, my main Super Dacob channel. And then a couple of years ago, I opened up a dedicated perfume channel just for perfumes called Essentially Dacob, which is where you're at right now. And I like to revisit fragrances from time to time, and since I have one of the first batches ever made of Eau de Cologne, which I reviewed in the first review, and now I purchased one of the latest batches of Eau de Cologne. Now, as I'm filming this review, it is 2025. The batch code is 0701. Right down there, you have it etched in the bottom. So this batch was made in 2024. So it was kind of interesting for me to compare like a really 200 ml from 2008, 2009 bottle smell to the current version. And I thought to myself, oof, have they watered it down? This is not a bestseller from the Les Exclusifs collection. Is this going to be one of those examples of, yeah, we're keeping this one in the roster, but since not many people are buying it, we're not really going to care for the quality of it? And since I was missing a size 75 ml for travel, although you bathe in this one because it is very light, it's an Eau de Cologne, which they list as an eau de toilette, even though on the back of the sticker, which is where they always write the concentration of their fragrances, it doesn't say eau de toilette on the back. It says nothing in the back because it says Eau de Cologne in the front, even though in the description of the perfume on the Chanel website, it says that this is an eau de toilette. How can an eau de Cologne be an eau de toilette? They're so shady. But just to prove my point, here we have Comète, and this is an eau de parfum. And in the back, you do see very faint, in like a very light gray, you have the printed concentration on the back of the sticker. It says Eau de Parfum for Comète. We do not have any concentration listed on Eau de Cologne in the back. But on the Chanel website, it does state right here at the bottom, Eau de Toilette comes in a spray for easy application. There you go. Okay, so we're going to get to the description of the perfume. Now, very light liquid. Oh, gosh. I mean, you guys, I was so shocked when I first sprayed this, when I unboxed it and sprayed it a couple of weeks ago. I was blown away. The quality is still there. It is amazing. The description is very minimal, as you've seen. As I've showed you a couple of seconds ago, they say the composition, composed by Jacques Polge, creator of Chanel fragrances from 1978 to 2014. This exquisite interpretation reveals the lively freshness of mandarin and bergamot with airy notes of neroli. So what they're telling us is mandarin, bergamot, and neroli. There's a smidge of vanilla in there. There's a sweetness in this perfume I can't even tell you. Um, They say an iconic symbol of elegance and simplicity through the ages, this light and solar fragrance evokes a bouquet of wild flowers. The Eau de Toilette comes in a spray for easy application. Like you have not, I can speak only for myself, and everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. Subscribe and thumb up the video while you're at it. Thank you guys so much. I have not smelled a better neroli, ever, quality-wise. I have smelled more intense nerolis, less intense nerolis, sure. But this neroli, with the aldehydes in the opening notes, so it does bubble up and sparkle. It does give you a fresh, clean, linen drying, in the breezy Mediterranean air type of vibe. Minimal, subtle. I mean, talk about quiet luxury. This thing is it. I mean, I don't like what Chanel is doing with their pricing because in Europe, the Eau De Cologne is the only Les Exclusifs that is cheaper than the Eau De Parfums in both concentrations, 75 ml and 200 ml. But not in America. In America, the Eau De Cologne is the same price as the EDPs, which means that now, before the price increase, as of now, when I'm filming this video, the price increase has not yet hit in 2025. But by the time you see this video, it might have already hit in 2025. And if you're watching this video a couple of years from now, oh, for sure, it's already several price increases ago. But for now, 200 ml Eau De Cologne in Europe is going to set you back something like 370 euro. In America, it's $500 plus tax. So, this is why it's like for the 200 ml bottle. So you end up paying like $550 after tax, depending which state you're buying it in, for 200 ml Eau De Cologne, which is a light perfume, very faint. And then you have a choice, like getting another one of the Les Exclusifs, some of them with longer projection, longevity, blah, 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 if that's what you're into, because some people are not into that. That's okay too. But $500 plus tax for 200 ml Comet, or $500 plus tax for 200 ml Eau De Cologne. I would not buy the Eau De Cologne for that price. But in Europe, it's still cheaper than the Eau De Parfum. So then it makes a little bit more sense. The 75 ml Eau De Cologne and Eau De Parfum in America are, as of now, $325 a bottle. $325 for this, plus tax. In Europe, it's 195 euro, and that's including tax. So we're talking over $100 difference. It's like, no. So this is something to buy in Europe, and that's it. Like, Eau De Cologne is something to buy in Europe. And even there, I would say try to get it at duty-free if you are traveling through some bigger European airport that has a bigger Chanel like boutique integrated in the duty-free section where you can get this at duty-free prices. Then, yeah, I would say buy it. But otherwise, this is just a very, very, very special luxury because it is a very special smell. It is a high quality neroli, bergamot, mandarin, aldehydes. It just smells divine. It smells luxurious. It smells like you're treating your soul to something when you're wearing this. However, it lasts you 10 minutes. Now, on a particularly warm day, on me, this lasts up to 3 hours. On a cooler day, when it's particularly cold, half an hour, 40 minutes. So you want to keep it warm. You want to keep it warm and you want to keep it close to the body. So you could spray it in the chest area and put clothes on to preserve the smell, or you could, apply it to the hair. If you don't want to dry your hair out too much with the alcohols in here, one of the tricks that I recommend doing, if you have a comb that you don't mind it getting yellow from alcohols, you spray the perfume on the comb, you air the comb a little bit, alcohol evaporates. When the alcohol has evaporated, you comb your hair with the comb and you get the essential oils of the fragrance on your hair. And hair is a really good transmitter of perfume, and the perfume also lasts longer on the hair than it does on the skin. So that's, for example, a little trick of how you can prolong a little bit the life of your fragrance. There's another trick to prolong the lifespan of Eau De Cologne on your skin, and that would be to use it in combination with the Chanel Les Exclusifs body cream. That body cream, however, has a musky base. The musky base warms up the perfume and tickles out more warm and sweet facets of Eau De Cologne. So it's not like a one-to-one Eau De Cologne anymore once you combine it with the musky base of the Chanel Les Exclusifs body cream. However, the DNA is still relatively preserved Eau De Cologne. When you do that, and when you layer them, the cream with the fragrance, you do enhance a little bit the longevity of the fragrance. And then you can enhance that even more by purchasing the Chanel Huile Douce, the Les Exclusifs body oil, which they might have discontinued now because they just in 2024 introduced the body oils from the Les Exclusifs range that smell of the Les Exclusifs perfumes. They released Sycamore so far, Coromandel, Beige, 1957, and Gardenia. They released 5 of the 19 available perfumes. So because they released those 5, they might have discontinued that generic musk smell body oil, which was called Huile Douce. But they haven't discontinued the cream yet, which has the same smell as the oil. So you could do, if you have the oil still, you could do the cream, then you do the oil, and then you spray this on top. Then you will prolong the smell of the fragrance with slight warmth added to it because of the musk. Ah, I'm just in pain that this doesn't last so long, but the quality is amazing. And I gotta say, my 2007-8 formula batch code, uh, I think 1/3 of the bottle is still, I still have 1/3 of the bottle left of a 200 ml bottle. It is aged beautifully. You would think that a bergamot heavy Eau De Cologne fragrance after so many years, almost after 20 years, that it would go sour, that the top notes would go rancid. No, it's still kicking ass. And I gotta say, even more intense today than it was back then. So this one ages nicely. You gotta let it macerate and marinate a little bit in the oxygen. So I just started using this. So I have a very teeny tiny dent in this bottle, right? But I'm really looking forward to it. Like, let's say 3 to 4 months from now, once like I've used up at least up to here. And once that oxygen gets in there and this gets a little bit more depth, it's still going to be a super light fragrance, but I just want to amplify the smell of that neroli. I want that neroli to be more present for a longer amount of time because this neroli, it's oh my gosh, it's like sophisticated happiness. It's like a spa in a bottle. You know what I mean? It just feels so natural. It feels so like a spa, like a luxurious spa. Okay, it's a moment in time. It lasts what it lasts. It lasts that 1 minute and then it's gone. But that it's worth that 1 minute. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's the best neroli I've ever smelled. It's so good. So, Patricia asks in the chats, in the live chats, could you extend the scent with a non-scented cream? Yes, you could. You could also extend it with a non-scented cream, a hydrating cream. However, um, no, there's no however. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. If you have a cream, particular cream that you like that doesn't have any scent, um, the thing that the cream does, basically, if you put it on your body, it's the oiliness of the cream, you know. It captures the essence of the perfume, the essential oils, the fragrance. It kind of locks it in and somehow enhances its vibration. You can envision it a little bit as if um, when you're enhancing sound and you have like sound boxes that are open up like that, and then the sound waves bounce off each other, and then they kind of every time they bounce off, they expand a little bit more, right? So that sound box functions as an enhancer. The cream can function in a similar way with fragrance. And coincidentally, when we talk about perfumes, we also talk about notes, just like we would talk about notes in music. So we have the top notes, we have the heart notes, mid notes, and bass notes. And we talk also about accords when we talk about perfumes. So um, I think it is also okay to talk about perfumes in terms of enhancing the wavelength, the vibration of the perfume and how much you can project, right? And so, yes, you can use odorless cream that has the right formula, the right concentration of oils or hydration or whatever is good for your skin, together with the functionality of the ingredients in that cream. How good are they at capturing the molecules of the perfume and keeping them locked in while while projecting the smell better and longer while it's captured, right? So it's always a little bit of a trial and error, like trying to figure out which cream goes best with which perfume. But you can definitely do it, and you can play around with it because yes, this one is really expensive. It's a sin. This is the most expensive, if you think about it, perfume of the Les Exclusifs range in terms of concentration, density, per milliliter price or price per ounce, especially in America. This is the most expensive Chanel perfume, which is really, if you think about it, really stupid of Chanel to do that because this is your most expensive perfume? Chanel, really? Girl. You know what I mean? Okay, but it's so good. It's such a fleeting moment in time. And when you smell it, you feel like you're in nature. You feel like you are in the right place at the right time. And you're sharing an intimate moment with yourself and you're flying. You know? It is such a beautiful, beautiful bergamot, neroli, mandarin, aldehydic fragrance that definitely needs to breathe. You need to start using it and then wait. Be patient with this one. Wait a couple of months. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying don't use it. I'm saying use it so that it gets a little bit of oxygen in there and then let it macerate, you know? And it gets more dense and intense with time. But it's not a longevity killer. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I have this other trick that I mentioned in a few of my other videos. So when you spray on the fragrance and then as it's drying down, you kind of come close with your nose and then you exhale warm air out of your nose to pop the molecules of the perfume. You exhale hot heat on the spot where you spray the perfume and then you inhale again. Ah, that's magical. Then you get the full blown DNA of the perfume because you pop those molecules and they just give you a rush in your nostrils. And this is something that is valid for all good perfumes. I mean, you know, perfumes that are not using really good ingredients in the dry down, you don't want to warm them up and sniff them, inhale them because they can smell quite bad. But if a perfume is really good and has really good ingredients, and you do that trick in the dry down, exhaling hot air, and then right after that, immediately inhaling, you're gonna pop those molecules open and you're gonna heaven. It's heaven. And Eau de Cologne really works well with this exhale, inhale. Patricia says that's a weird one. So you snort the scent? Yeah, you kind of do. I mean, technically, if you think about it, you know, it's still in some parts of the world, people still do that, but um, tobacco. You know, tobacco, you could smoke it in a cigarette, but there's also the grainy tobacco, you know, little leaves, and then you put it here, put a little here, and then you snort the tobacco. That's like a very old school way of consuming tobacco, and it's placed here because here you have pulse. It's an intense pulse. It warms up the tobacco to get more flavor in there, right? So if you spray a perfume here, it's a similar effect, and then you pop the molecule, inhale it. Well, I sprayed it here now. It's on another level of comfortable, seducing, warm, gentle, lulling, almost massaging. It is a spa. This perfume is I want to say this is the well-being perfume of Chanel, and it is very underrated. A lot of people don't talk about this one. You know, they like I said, who's going to want to spend so much money on this one when there are more character-driven Chanel perfumes out there like Coromandel, Le Lion de Chanel. They're all like powerhouses. Number 22, huge powerhouse. Um, Bel Respiro, even though some people say it doesn't last long on them, on me, Bel Respiro lasts at least 8 hours. Misia is another power bomb. A lot of people are not really into Misia, but Misia also lasts a century on the skin. Obviously, exaggerating here, but I mean, even Jersey in its extrait form, that lavender is a masterpiece. So, if you're thinking like, okay, I'm going to spend the money for Les Exclusifs perfume, I want to say over 95 to 99% of the people are not going to buy Eau De Cologne. They're just not. They're going to buy the heavy hitters. They're going to buy Beige, Coromandel, Sycamore. So, boy, 1957, even Bois des Îles lasts longer, than this. But who buys this the most? Eau de Cologne? Usually the really refined noses of France. Usually French men that are really, really into specific sophisticated colognes. They're going to go for this. This is going to be standing in their bathrooms, in their toiletry pouches, right? And also, I want to say every respectable perfume house takes that challenge upon itself to have a really good quality, at least one really good quality cologne in their roster. It's almost like a tradition, like no matter how crazy and funky your perfumes are, your creations are, still everybody takes the time to develop one special cologne, their own little signature cologne. They're all very similar. There's not much you can do with bergamot neroli, but Chanel really delivered the highest level of eau de cologne you can get, because this thing, it's on another level of beautiful. And even Mugler had his own cologne, that really intense green colored one. You know, um, everybody tries. Every perfume house that has a standing and a reputation, sooner or later, tries to tackle the art form of eau de cologne. And by eau de cologne, I don't mean just what for many years has been deemed a concentration of a perfume, which people say eau de cologne, is a little bit more diluted as opposed to the toilette, which is a little bit more diluted as opposed to the eau de parfum, which is a little bit more diluted as opposed to the parfum, which is more concentrated and dense, right? But truth be told, I have smelled in my life many eau de colognes which have the intensity of an extrait. Biggest example is the when Hedi Slimane was at Dior Homme, and he designed and introduced the bottles, the three at the beginning. There were only three collection privée bottles. All three of them were colognes. There was Cologne Blanche, Bois d'Argent, and Eau Noire. Eau Noire is an extrait, in my humble opinion, but it was labeled as an eau de cologne, or actually was just labeled cologne on the sticker of Eau Noire, which I still have, by the way. And Francis Courjean developed that one. Now, is it a cologne? Yes. Was it sold in really big bottles? Yes. But one spray was enough, and it lasted you 10, 15 hours. So it doesn't mean that an eau de cologne concentration has to be weak. No, because we also have proof of the contrary. When Chanel No. 5 was also available in the Eau de Cologne concentration, by the way, also number 22 was available in the Eau de Cologne concentration, as was Cuir de Russie, Bois des Îles, Gardenia, but we digress. Chanel No. 5 Eau de Cologne, with that Civity base, okay, was anything but fleeting. That shit would stick around for hours. Now, they've discontinued it, probably because Chanel doesn't want to have Eau de Cologne because it's kind of cheaper. Their Les Eaux were supposed to be Eau de Cologne, so I've been told, allegedly in the beginning, but then they last minute relabeled them as Eau de Toilettes to charge more. But they are Eau de Colognes, in my humble opinion. But we digress again. So, but to have in their roster an actual Eau de Cologne, and this is the only Eau de Cologne in name, And in concentration, not, because as I said, like I said, on their website, they state that this is an eau de toilette, even though they call it Eau De Cologne. It's the stupidest thing. But anyway, this is the only Eau De Cologne per name in their roster. So this is what they tackled as the ultimate Eau De Cologne. And in fact, it delivers. Another Chanel perfume that comes close to the quality of this, not the smell, quite different smell, but the quality of it, is Pour Monsieur Eau de Toilette. Not Eau de Parfum, which is a fougère. The Eau de Toilette is a chypre. Yeah, I guess it's a mass release perfume concentration, not available anymore worldwide. In America, they discontinued the EDT. You can only get the EDP. But I think in Australia, they discontinued the EDP. You can only get the EDT. I think now maybe you can get both. In Europe, you can get both, of course. But if you smell the EDT, there's a certain quality to it that is also mass smelling. This is much more niche smelling. For an Eau de Cologne, you might ask yourself, how can Eau de Cologne be niche smell? It can, if the quality is right. And here the quality is right. But of the Chanel fragrances, it's the Pour Monsieur that kind of, in terms of old school quality, old school, more conservative approach to old school masculine perfumery, even though perfume knows no gender in my book. But Pour Monsieur was the first in Eau de Toilette concentration, was the first male fragrance done by Chanel. Henri Robert is the perfumer behind it, but Coco Chanel, during her lifetime, that was the only one she did. She's like, one and done. This thing is amazing. It's a masterpiece. It's the counterpart to Chanel No. 5. We good. We go, Henri. We go. We don't need to do another one. And then when she passed away, they started developing other, for the male market, targeted fragrances. But this is almost kind of, to me, like, I don't want to say the evolution of Pour Monsieur, because Pour Monsieur is not an Eau de Cologne. Pour Monsieur is, it's a chypre. It has that bergamot in there. It has the aldehydes. It has ginger. It has a smidge of labdanum in there. You know, it has that warmer, woodsier base. Sicilian bergamot. It has oak moss. Okay, this one doesn't have oak moss listed in it. Like, that's a chypre, right? So it's more complex than this one. So you can't say that Les Exclusifs Eau de Cologne is a further development of Pour Monsieur Eau de Toilette. It is not. But, hear me out. If I were to only choose two Chanel male fragrances, even though perfumes know no gender for me, it would be these two. Like, and I know this Eau de Cologne is a unisex, Les Exclusifs are all unisex, but doesn't matter. It's a very masculine leaning type of scent. And sometimes I say of like a cologne quality perfume, oh, this is very barbershop leaning. This one doesn't lean barbershop at all. Chanel's Boy to me smells very much of a modern futuristic barbershop, right? This is different. It's in a category of its own. It's in a league of its own. This is literally Chanel saying, we're going to give you the Eau de Cologne that nobody else can, because we have access to the ingredients nobody else has access to. So this is like a snobby way of Chanel saying, we do this because we can. And if you don't want to buy it for the super expensive price, that's fine. We're still going to keep making it because we're so proud of it. That's the vibe it gives me, which is fabulously luxury. If you think about it, that's what luxury is in perfumery. They're like, okay, we're not selling so many of them, so other perfume houses would have since a long time already would have discontinued it, not Chanel. In that respect, that type of, stubbornness, it's a stubborn perfume. It's like, we're going to keep making it. We don't care if you're not buying it. That is kind of evolution in luxury, because despite all the odds, despite this frantic, quick world we're moving and living in, where if something doesn't sell, it's gone. Okay? They're not going to keep making it. Why would they? No, Chanel keeps making it. That's luxury to me. Like knowing, having that reassurance that no matter when I'm ready to buy this again, I'll find it. in their boutiques, in their beauty boutiques, because they will keep making them, right? Um, and so that is kind of the evolution of the Pour Monsieur, because this is, in a way, solidifying the dedication to perfection that Coco Chanel had for male fragrances. Like I said, it's a huge deal to say in your lifetime as a designer, it's a one and done deal. Because like I said, during Coco's own lifetime, Pour Monsieur was the only for men targeted fragrance that she issued, and it was released in 1955. So, from 1955 until she passed away in 1971, so she almost had 20 years' time to make a second male fragrance. She didn't. She's like, no, we're good. This is perfect, just the way it is. So to me, I think Coco would have loved this one. If she smelled it today, if she were still alive today and she smelled this one of the entire Les Exclusifs range, minus the original 4 from the 20s that she smelled with Ernest Beau, Gardenia 22, Cuir de Russie and Bois des Îles, this would be the one where she would say, oh yes, this is the one. It's super elegant. And it's all about that, she said in one television interview, she did very few, because she was quite old once, television became a thing. So, but we do have television recordings of her moving and talking. And in 31 Rue Cambodge, one of the things she said, and I'm paraphrasing here, she said, perfume doesn't have to be strong and opulent. It can be something super, super delicate, light, just a faint trace of it. And sometimes even something that you can only smell when you get really close to the person wearing it. She's like, but it doesn't matter. You have to find the right one for yourself. And when you do, it's magical, no matter how delicate and fleeting the perfume is. So she made a really good point there. It's not like she was already back in the 50s when she gave the interview, like she was selling watered down perfumes. No, back then there were barely any reforms going on. There was no IFRA. The perfumes were loaded with fixatives, with oak moss. There was no limitations almost on, you could use animal products, civet, styrax. You could use, castoreum, musk, animal musks. Like you could do all that. Chanel number 5, you spray it on, it would last you for days. But so she had powerful, strong, lasting perfumes when she gave that interview. Nevertheless, she said it doesn't matter. You don't have to use a strong perfume. You can use something super delicate and soft. And that's enough. That's enough as well. You just got to find the right one for yourself. So the fact that this is that soft, delicate, elegant, super elevated and sophisticated, best materials used, type of tapestry, woven fragrance, this is couture. This is haute couture cologne, actually. You know what I'm saying? This is like a handmade suit of an Eau De Cologne. You just feel like $1,000,000. Everything is just easy. You wear this and you feel like, yeah, sure, we're cool. Yeah, everything's gonna be okay. It heals the soul. You know what I mean? It heals the soul. It has that power. It's just that good. Chill vibes. Beachy, breezy, sunny, sophisticated, very Parisian. Very Parisian. And for those who are into quiet luxury, I've actually done a list of top 10 quiet luxury perfumes. Guess which one made it to the top 10? This one did. But you can go check out my top 10 quiet luxury perfumes to see which others I chose. There's quite a few colognes in there, by the way, because obviously cologne is that extra genre of fragrance that it has its own special place in the Olympus of perfume history, where almost like it's a pride thing. Every perfumer, not just every perfume brand, but every perfumer wants to have in their portfolio at least 1 or 2 colognes like that they're very proud of, to say like, yeah, I've done perfumes for this brand, I've done perfumes for that brand, and this is the cologne that I did. This is my cologne. This is my version of cologne. It's like It's a subtle, delicate thing. It's also really difficult to add something new to the Eau De Cologne family. It's a very specific, very strict, very conservative formula. There's not much you can do. And that's where the masterfulness and the artistry lies, right within that, with that tiny wiggle room that you got. If you show off that, your bravado, how good you are at it, because within that tiny wiggle room that you have, the restrictions that you got, you still manage to create something that is recognizable with your signature. It's like saying, look what I did. And I think that pride that good perfumers have in developing their own cologne is so fabulous. I love it because, they pride themselves so much of these, and they put so much effort into it, that good perfumers, you want to wear their cologne because you know that they don't want to mess that up. Because there's all the other perfumers out there that are ready to say, my cologne is better than yours. So every respectable perfumer is going to put their everything into developing their cologne so that it can also stand the test of time, so that it can also be there on the Olympus, on the pedestal, with all the other colognes that have, marked a slight shift, change, evolution in the cologne perfume history, which, like I said before, is quite conservative. In the options that you're given to create a classic Eau de Cologne, and I'm talking classic in terms of 4711 type of Eau de Cologne. So in that respect also, I want to say that Eau de Cologne is an evolution of Pour Monsieur because it simplifies. And Coco Chanel was all about simplifying. She said, when you're leaving the house and you're all dressed up, look in the mirror. And when you think you got to add another little detail, that's when you should take a detail away. Take something off. Minimize. Strip it of something. Minimize it. The simpler it is, the more beautiful it gets. And it almost feels as if Pour Monsieur has been simplified and stripped away of its chypre-ism, and we've reduced it to the bone. And this is the pure elegance, the pure minimalism of Coco Chanel in this bottle of Eau de Cologne. So next time you pass by this and you sniff it and you think, meh, this isn't as powerful as Coromandel. This isn't as strong as Le Lion de Chanel. This doesn't give me the emotions like Sycamore. True, it doesn't, for a reason. This is the opposite of all of that. This is the opposite of drama. This is the opposite of, of pizzazz. No, this knows its spot. This knows its place. This never screams. It's never loud. It is poised. It is elegant. It knows how to curtsy. Amen, baby. This is a true Chanel. In the spirit of Coco Chanel. A true Chanel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like this review, my updated review of Eau de Cologne. Still fabulous in its current formulation, in my humble opinion. Top of the world of the Cologne families out there. Let me know your thoughts down below. Does anybody else have the Eau de Cologne from Chanel as Exclusifs? If you do, let me know down below. Love you loads, and until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Subscribe and thumb up the video. Bye.